Alright, Shalom, Kal Halalim, Wahawad, La Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Wa Malaki Hawashai, Wa Bahat Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone, enough respect to the Akim pushing this word throughout the four corners of this world. I don't want Ratazah, which means Lord willing, so Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. So, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, it's going to touch on this precept in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 40, and verse 20. Going to break it down, all right? And it reads, wine and music rejoice the heart, but the love of wisdom is above them both. And that's very true. That's a true statement, because music and wine, it does make one feel good. Okay, it is a form of pleasure, a form of entertainment, especially if you're in a party environment, all right? But all of that is temporary. It's all temporary pleasures, man. Okay, and even during the Windows 10 shutdown of 2020, a lot of parties were going on because of everyone being locked up inside. Depression kicked in. So people wanted to have an outlet, and they did that in the form of partying, right? So I'll read the verse again. Wine and music rejoice the heart, but the love of wisdom is above them both. Okay. So pleasure and enjoyment and entertainment, that doesn't really solve any problems. Actually, it doesn't at all. Okay. However, the love of wisdom is nothing compared to that. Let's get a precept in Proverbs. Just bear with me. So we've got Proverbs. In fact, actually, there's two scriptures I won't mind getting. Right, Proverbs chapter 2, verse 6. For the Lord Yahweh giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. Proverbs 2 and 10. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, meaning mind, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul. Okay, and that's valuable. That's true. Treasures, really. Okay, if you have that love and compassion, right, for knowledge and wisdom, then you can never go wrong. You can never go wrong at all, and nothing can compare to that. Okay, and it comes from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai ultimately, and it's a very wise thing to pursue. All right, but now with gaining wisdom, along the line comes grief. Yeah, preset for that. Nope. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Alright, because when you begin to suffer in this truth, alright, which is the bit side of this knowledge, as you're growing and you're learning, especially when you're first coming in, alright, you'll face various trials and tribulations, which is all part of the battle, okay? But we've got to endure. Okay. So go back to the precept in Sirach chapter 40 verse 20. Wine and music rejoice the heart, right? And there's nothing wrong with listening to music and having strong drink. Okay, that's all fine, but you got to be wise and apply balance to that. All right, just balance it out, because there's a time and place for everything. Roughly paraphrasing Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Now you can get out of hand with drinking and indulging in strong drink and wine. All right, you get too drunk, you can become enrageful. All right, the scriptures talk about that. It talks about how wine can be a mockery. Okay, and one can be deceived by it. All right, so don't have that love of wine and music, all right, to the point where you get distracted, but rather direct that energy, all right, to getting into the scriptures, this knowledge, okay, right, because that's important. That's what's going to keep us stable in the times that we're in, and that we're coming into, okay. And just remember to apply that balance, okay. Let's get another precept. In the book of Luke, there we are, Luke chapter 21. We'll jump all the way down to verse 34. Alright, now this is Yahushua speaking. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts, meaning your mind, be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. In fact, let's go into the word surfeiting. Right, and the Greek word for that is
Strong's G 2897, Krypale, Thayer's Lexicon, related entry, Krypale.
right, and it goes into the giddiness and headache caused by drinking wine to excess. So there you go. Overindulging in, a strong drink. Okay. Now with balance, that can also be applied to studying the word. Okay. Because when you're studying and learning, you want to balance that out too. Alright, this goes for myself first and foremost. Alright, as well as your new brothers and sisters coming into the truth, coming into the faith. Alright, because when we're learning, everyone's different. They learn at a different pace. Alright, there's only so much one can take in at a time. So let's get another precept in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs 25 and 16. Proverbs chapter 25 verse 16. Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith, and vomit it. Okay, so when we're taking in this knowledge, alright, you don't want to drown yourself in this truth so much whereby you end up spewing all that you learn out. Okay, it's just like back in school, revising and studying. Okay, you want to just balance it out, take breaks. Okay, learning segments in bite-sized chunks, and of course start off with the milk first. Alright, you don't want your brain to get overloaded and then get bored. Okay, and then really you're just left back with not learning anything. You're back to the beginning. Okay, alright, so hast thou found honey? Right, and honey is symbolic for this word, this knowledge, this understanding. Right, eat so much, okay, which is a metaphor for taking this in, taking this knowledge in. Right, understanding it mentally and learning it. Alright, and then doing it. So eat so much as sufficient, okay, going into enough. Alright, and that way you'll grow what you take in your desired amount. Alright, it's all about balance and learning at a certain pace, and it all varies from different individuals. So hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it. Alright, so the main thing is, right, that when you get this knowledge, that you're actually understanding, you're getting your understanding. Alright, because our focus is on this word. Alright, and pleasures come after. So yeah, I just want to make a short lesson. Alright, so with that, the water for tuning in, all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Kodash, and double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach us this truth. So with that, shalom to the elect. Shalom.